Good evening. Thank you for joining us. My name is Linda, and I'm the president of the Boston Pride Committee. And this past weekend marked the 40th anniversary of the first reported case of what became known as AIDS. At the National AIDS Memorial in San Francisco, there was a moving ceremony held to honor the more than 700,000 lives lost in the United States to this epidemic. At this ceremony, there was a 40-block display of the AIDS quilt. This quilt, I myself actually contributed to. I lost a lot of dear friends to this disease. So this event, Pride Lights, is near and dear to my heart. About 25 years ago, to show support and solidarity for those affected by HIV and AIDS, a few community members displayed pink lights. This show of visibility and solidarity grew throughout the years. And so now, Boston Pride continues this tradition by having a night of remembrance called Pride Lights. And although we cannot be with you in person, we offer you this virtual program. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Pierre Sturkin, our Director of Operations for Boston Pride.
Thanks, Linda. I'm Pierre Sturkin, the Director of Operations for Boston Pride. I'm honored to be a part of this important event again this year. I'd like to thank you all for joining us virtually again from your homes, your offices, or on your phones walking down the street. What's important is that we're all together. As Linda mentioned, this event started over 25 years ago to commemorate all those we've lost to the HIV/AIDS epidemic, but also to raise visibility of the LGBTQIA+ community. There was already a huge stigma against our community when the first cases were reported 40 years ago, and the growing epidemic compounded that fear. But events like Pride Lights proved that we are not to be feared. We live among everyone else in all aspects of life, sharing and caring just like everyone else, hoping and dreaming for the best life possible. With all that's been accomplished over the years through activism, education, and science, we must also still remember our history and all that still needs to be done to protect the rights and humanity of the Black and Brown members of our community, the transgender and gender non-conforming members of our community, and especially the Black and Brown transgender women in our community. In memory of all those we've lost to HIV/AIDS, and in celebration of those that are living full lives with HIV/AIDS, we invite you to enjoy this short program. Again this year, Boston Pride has the honor of having Marty Martinez, Chief of the Mayor's Office of Health and Human Services for the City of Boston. Chief Martinez oversees 10 departments that include Boston Public Health Commission, the Office of Recovery Services, and Boston Centers for Youth and Families, as well as the Department of Youth Engagement and Employment. Most importantly, Chief Martinez has led and continues to lead the city's response to the COVID pandemic, which has led him to being named one of the top 100 most influential Bostonians in 2021. Please welcome to our virtual stage, Chief Marty Martinez.
Good evening. My name is Marty Martinez, and I'm the Chief of Health and Human Services for the City of Boston. Let me first by starting wishing everyone a happy Pride. I hope you have a great, safe celebration this week and all this month as we get together to honor our LGBTQI community. I also am pleased to be able to be here with you for the Pride Light celebration, when we come together to remember those who've gone before us, not only through work and effort to combat HIV and AIDS in our community, but those leaders who set the stage for all the accomplishments we have today and all the things we've been able to do. Thank you in memory to all of those and those who continue the fight along today. I'm excited to be here on behalf of the City of Boston. This year and last year have been some tough years for us when we've been facing and fighting COVID, but we all see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're all excited to be able to get back to some normalcy. I'm excited and eager to see many people in person and to be able to see all the work we've done to keep each other safe and our community safe. But now we have many things we have to look at. We have to look at the inequities that existed pre-COVID and that exacerbated the impact of COVID. We've seen an uptick in HIV infections in our city. We've seen an uptick in some of the challenges that people have had to encounter. And we continue to see that inequities around healthcare, inequities around access, around community and economy have impacted Black and Brown residents even more. Now, as we think about life after COVID, we have to really think about how we recover from it in a way that's equitable, how we recover from it focused on those populations who need us the most. As a city official, I'm proud of the work that we've done in the city, but there's much more that we need to do. So I'm eager to not only be here to say thank you to all of our community leaders who've done the work we've done. Thank you to those in the community who continue to hold us accountable for what needs to happen. I want to say thank you for those who are going to celebrate Pride this year in a safe way, who are going to step out and show folks what does it mean to be in the LGBTQI community. I also want to say thank you for those organizations and those systems that are confronting the racial injustice and systemic racism that have been part of our community, part of our city, part of our government, and part of every institution. This work is not easy and it's hard, but we have to do it together. As an openly gay Latino man, I'm excited to be part of this community. I'm proud of the work we continue to do, and I'm proud to celebrate Pride with all of you this week and this month. So again, have a safe holiday. Thank you for all the work you've done over this past year and a half as we face COVID, and I'm eager to continue the important work we need to do to make sure that we achieve true equality as a community and that we place equity at the center of all of our work. Thank you and happy Pride.
Thank you, Chief. We're lucky to have a leader like you a part of our community. Now, please join me in welcoming Jonathan Alves. Jonathan is a part of the Blackstone Franklin Square Neighborhood Association. The Neighborhood Association has been a great partner with Boston Pride in producing Pride lights in their parks. Please welcome to our virtual stage, Jonathan Alves.
Blackstone Franklin Square Neighborhood Association is proud to host for the second year the virtual lighting ceremony for Pride Lights, which commemorates and celebrates all of those lives that were lost and impacted during the 1980s and 1990s AIDS and HIV epidemic. We welcome you to our squares for this important historical event, and we hope to gather in person in the near future soon.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'd like to now welcome an amazing poet and activist, Philip Robinson. Philip will read his We Still Leave a Legacy poem from his second book of poems, We Still Leave a Legacy. That book of poems debuted in 2010 and was revised in 2017. It deals in part with the many people who have transitioned from HIV/AIDS. Please welcome Philip Robinson to our virtual stage.
Hello and happy Pride. My name is Philip Robinson, a retired Boston Public School guidance counselor, a local poet, and a 30-year member of the Bed Rust and Breakfast Planning Committee, which is under the sponsorship of AIDS Action Committee. I dedicate my poem that I'm about to read, We Still Leave a Legacy, which is the title of my book of poetry, to the many heroes and sheroes that gave strong voice and advocacy to the rights of the LGBTQ+ communities. There's a place for us, somewhere a place for us. Each step chisels away at my life. No other impact has entered as strongly. Now no cries can go unheard. There is a newer purpose to these days. The aftermath tends to linger longer this time, allowing lives to be reassessed. We become more in touch with our own mortality. Revelations are meaningful timetables to this discovery. Those who die in silence often experience more pain. To bury one's dreams is to let go of life. Our larger mission is to complete tasks that have been left incomplete. Our greatest weapon against fear will be our collective intelligence willed to us through our higher power. When the deepest of emotions have been put in check, we will have acquired the sense of touching and caring for ourselves, sources of true deliverance. The enforced censorship of our private affairs will never censor my love, our love, the movement. There are beams of hope and faith directing us, keeping our search infinite. This is one battle we will win. We have been handed the torch. Our march is for us. It is for them. It is forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip, for sharing this poem with us. For any of you that are interested in learning about Philip's work, please visit the Pride Lights event page on bostonpride.org to see Philip's website and to find links to his amazing book of poems. I would like to now introduce the Boston Gay Men's Chorus. The chorus has provided a beautiful rendition of John Lennon's Imagine for tonight. The Boston Gay Men's Chorus is one of New England's largest and most successful community-based choruses and has been a partner with Boston Pride for many years. Please join me in welcoming music director Reuben Reynolds to our virtual stage.
Hi, I'm Reuben Reynolds, music director of the Boston Gay Men's Chorus. We are here to add our voices of support for Pride Lights, the annual event honoring those impacted by HIV/AIDS. We're offering Imagine by John Lennon, which was released in 1971, the year Boston held its very first march commemorating the riots at Stonewall Inn. Although the song is 50 years old, its anti-establishment message remains as relevant today as it was back then. This arrangement of Imagine was written for men's chorus by the composer Mari Isabel Valverde, a BIPOC woman who is believed to be one of the very first out transgendered composers. The song's lyrics, imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky, will resonate with everyone who has been impacted by HIV/AIDS, and that includes the Boston Gay Men's Chorus. We've lost many members of our family to AIDS, and tonight we remember them.
Thank you to Boston Gay Men's Chorus for sharing that beautiful ensemble with us. You can also enjoy the chorus's Pride concert on Saturday, June 12th at 7:30 p.m. and then again on June 13th at 12:30 p.m. You can find out more about the chorus on our event page at bostonpride.org. Now, it is fitting to take a glimpse at the light installation in Blackstone and Franklin Park.
Thank you for joining us. I'd like to take a moment to thank those who supported us putting the lights on in the park and for those who joined us in our virtual presentation. Mayor Janey, Chief Marty Martinez, the Blackstone Franklin Square Neighborhood Association, our poet Phil Robinson, and the Boston Gay Men's Chorus. We hope you visit the parks to see the lights and remember those whose lives were lost or affected by HIV and AIDS. If you don't already have pink lights, you can certainly go to our website, bostonpride.org. And if you'd like some more information about AIDS and HIV, we have a resource page, and under Health and Education, you will find some information. Thank you again, and have a good night.